So I'm watching this interview with Kanye West and Candace Owens that was actually done in October of 2022. And I know that we, or some, if you don't remember, that Kanye West was, I would say, seemed like he was sold off of God and was um, very into or trying to be into the walk with God, trying to give his life to God. And he's, I'm not going to play this because, copyright, whatever, but um, he was speaking in this instant in regards to when certain groups of people came at him because he said that, being that we were all from Africa, have Africa lineage, and the Bible took place in Africa, that we are considered or should be considered um, under Jewish lineage, and how the Jews of today, which I call modern Pharisees and Sadducees, not all of them, but a lot of them, that they came at him for that. And it made me think of something that, and I think I said this before, that God created man and man created slaves. God's intentions was for us to all live together, love each other, and he be the ultimate Godhead over us, right? Him be our ultimate provision, and the one true God that he is, that we worship, right? But when God made man, God gave man free will. With man's free will, he was manipulated by Satan, right? So at the end of the day, we know that sin came into the world because of a choice that man made, or woman made, right? So with that, that started the manipulation, that started the opportunity for Satan, right? So God made man, man made slaves. In the Bible, and again, like I said, I don't think that it was God's ideal will for anybody to be a slave, okay? That's one. God made man, man made slaves. But because God gave man free will, God did say in the Bible to not mistreat your slaves, right? To treat them with respect, to even love them as a brother. Don't mistreat them, don't beat them. But you know what Satan did? Satan manipulated. Again, keep in mind that everything that God created, Satan manipulates and is still manipulating man to perverse, right? So Satan looked at it as an opportunity from days of old. You have to remember, from days of old, everything that is done in the physical started in the spiritual. From days of old, to say, you're superior to these people. You don't have to love them. They're supposed to, you're supposed to rule over them. You see where I'm going? Here comes slavery at its ultimate cruelty. Okay? Now, fast forwarding to today. Satan continues to manipulate man, continues to manipulate a certain group of people to make them think that they are inferior. We are to live in God's ideal will. Yes, I know that there are certain injustices that's opposed on brown people. Just know that it's not all the way across the board happening to just brown people. Okay, but nonetheless, Satan is so clever. So he influences man to put these people under your superiority. That's where they belong. You're supposed to love them. You're supposed to rule them. In turn, we have the mindset of one group is more superior than the other. One group is lesser than the other. And then what ends up happening is that we act as if. God is your provider. He was then, he is now. Whether you accept that is up to you. So if you put yourself in bondage, that's up to you. If you put yourself in a place where you have freedom under him, that's up to you. Freedom in bondage is up to you. Stop letting Satan manipulate your mind and look to God for truth. He's manipulating people. He's been doing it since the beginning. Since the garden, he's been manipulating people with lies. We are to remember to look to God for the truth. In this climate of what's going on with the elections and things like that, I don't really consider myself a Democrat or Republican. I mean, honestly, I did register as a Republican. But deep down inside, I'm more kingdom than anything else. I prefer to keep that in mind. I try to keep that in mind. Anyone that upholds Christian values and Christian rights, I'm more on that side than I am the latter. I'm not perfect. Nobody is. We all are wrestling with something or some things. But I'm just going to say this because it's true. Personal relationship with God is the best thing you got going for you right now. It's the best relationship that you can and will ever have. Stop letting anybody tell you different. You know, wars against the mindset of is Muslim and Christ. And listen, do your research. As far as I'm concerned, if you do not believe that Jesus is the Son of God and he is God, if you do not believe that, I don't care what religion you are, because at the end of the day, Satan made religion to divide people. So I don't care what religion that you are, that's not going to save you in the end. If you don't believe that Jesus is the Son of God and that he is God, that came to save us of our sins, to take on the wrath of God on him, so that we would have a chance at resurrection and to live eternally like he is currently and forever will. If you don't believe that, you won't live like that. Regardless of whether you sin or not, nobody's going to be perfect. The difference is you know that you need him in your sin. Whereas you move throughout life as if you need no one. That means that you're your own God. That's Antichrist. If you do not believe, and if you do not have a personal relationship with him so that he will know you, read Revelations, read Matthew, where he says that on that day there will be, and I'm ad-libbing here, there would be Those that will come to him saying, Lord, Lord, did we not cast out demons in your name? And he will say to them, depart from me, I never knew you, workers of iniquity. You want him to know you, so you got to get to know him. That's a relationship. Those that do not know him, those that are not in personal relationship with him, you will be considered part of all these other religions, regardless of whether you weren't in it or not. You're still Antichrist at the end of the day. And that's what's going to matter. Either you're for Christ or against Christ. That's it. He understands gray areas, but he doesn't delve in gray areas. He said, you are either hot or cold. If you're lukewarm, I will spit you out. A personal relationship with him is all that matters right now in this climate. You better get to know him. How do I get to know him? Talk to him like you talk to your friends. Natural conversation. That's it. May God bless you. I pray for those that don't know him hard. Like I pray, especially people that I love dearly. I pray for those people to get to know him. Praying 5 times a day, 6 times a day, that's not going to cut it. People really need to, I'm not going to get into it. Anyway, a personal relationship with God is going to be your end all be all. Don't let Satan manipulate you. He does not care about color. He's an opportunist. He's using our will to be at odds with each other as an opportunity to create even more division, to keep you in sin. His end game is to bring you down with him. So when we talk about, oh, black, white people against each other, blah, 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 he's not looking at color. Y'all think that he's looking at color. He don't care about that. He knows that that means nothing to God. What is important to God is your relationship with him. And if he can do anything to get y'all out of a relationship or not even think about God, things are going so right in your life. You know what I'm saying? You got so much money, you got this, that, and the other. But if you don't have God, you are in delusion. You are walking amongst a forest that looks beautiful with flowers and running waters and milk and honey and all the great things. That's your delusion. But you know what it looks like in reality? It's dust, it's ashes, it's fire, it's just mold and everything that you could think of that is just, that disgusts you. That's what you're really living in, but you don't see that. Because Satan got you under delusion. Just, everybody's going through something. Everybody's going through their own struggles. I really pray that God plucks the people that he knows have a good heart out of delusion. There's some people that's not going to make it. There's some people that have a reprobate mind and he's just going to leave them like that. When God sends a strong delusion on you because you refuse to accept truth, there's nothing we can, you can't do nothing about that. You can get all the prayers in the world, but if God says he's just going to send a strong delusion to you because you don't want truth anyway, you don't want that. So get to know him. He's all you got.